Does it really matter how we perceive things if we look at the world one way or another? There are many ways, it seems, that you could interpret the world, interpret life, interpret thinking. And if you look at most things, you'll see that there are just multiple versions of them. There are different types of food in the world. There are different types of music in the world. There are different forms of meditation. There are different styles of therapy. There are different languages that we speak. There's so many things. There's different operating systems on computers. There's different belief systems that people have, different value systems. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of things to choose from. So does it matter? Does it really matter? Because it's a bit confusing sometimes when you look at it, because you can see that different people who have rather different worldviews may still at the same time be doing rather well. You know, even though they may have kind of contrary positions or perspectives on things, they still might be actually doing rather well, which, you know, on first glance can seem a bit confusing. So sometimes it at least appears that it doesn't particularly matter. You know, one person might be running Windows, another person using Mac. Now, the both may be doing very good creative work and their output seems equally good. So it can be kind of like that. Different belief systems, different structures, but seemingly quite functional. So does it matter? Well, it definitely can matter. It matters a lot in certain areas, and it probably doesn't matter so much in other areas. Some things probably are just personal choice. They're preferences. They don't impact on other people too much, so therefore it doesn't particularly matter too much. Other things matter quite a bit, and they particularly matter if we care about outcomes. So an example of this I like to think of, just to think about how we sort and categorize things in the world, is if you were given the task, for whatever reason, maybe a summer job, you were given the task of sorting fruit. So sorting fruit is what you do now. That's your job. So somebody says to you, okay, this is your new job. Go into that room. There's lots of fruit. Go and sort the fruit. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, okay, I understand what fruit is and I understand what sorting is, but what's my algorithm here? In what way am I trying to sort the fruit? And if you experimented a bit and you thought, okay, well, let me have some initiative here. Let me figure out for myself what the best way is of sorting fruit. So let me try a few different styles and let me see what works. So first thing I might do is sort it by color. You know, so along the color gradient, different colors of fruit, and you put them all in order based on their color. And go, okay, that's one way. Another possibility is flavor. So you might remember the flavor, or you might want to taste the fruit, and you maybe from sweet to sour or bitter, you in some way sort them along those lines. So that's another way of sorting. And notice that each of these ways of sorting are objectively true. This isn't just random. There are genuinely sweeter and more bitter fruits. There are genuinely different colors of fruits as well along a scale. This isn't just you being random and doing it your way. This is kind of an objective measure, you could say. You could also sort the fruit by how long it lasts. You could also sort the fruit by its country of origin. You could sort the fruit through any number of other measures, maybe by what is most suitable in recipes. Lots of different factors can be brought in. So none of these are relativistic in a sense. So it's not that it's just, it's just your preference and it's random. These are all objective ways of sorting things. But we still haven't answered the very important question, which is there a right way of sorting them? So the answer is, I suppose, no, there isn't a right way of sorting it. It's not that sorting by color is any more true than sorting by flavor or sorting by seasonal availability or anything else. However, there may be a correct way to sort it if you have a particular goal in mind. And that's the thing, because that goal tends not to be particularly given. You know, what are you trying to achieve? That's kind of the bit that you need to figure out for yourself. What is it that I want in life? What are my values? And I don't think anybody can really tell you what your values should be. I can suggest some safeguards. As good core values, it's nice that whatever you do and whatever you want is consistent with your well-being, and it's consistent with the well-being of others and the well-being of the world, the environment that you live in. That's a useful, I think, safeguard to have. And not only is that good for the world, but it's good for you, because if you cooperate well with others in the environment you're in, things tend to go better for you anyway. So it's you can be selfish or you can be very altruistic, and that's still a good strategy to have. But that still doesn't tell us what you want. What are you cooking here? What is it that you want to make? And whatever it is you want to make, what you care about, that's where your sorting mechanisms are going to come in. So it does matter, I suppose, how we sort things and how we categorize the world. It's not that just any perspective is equal to any other perspective, but a useful starting point when you're trying to figure out what your worldview is to ask that question: what are my values? What do I care about? What am I actually trying to achieve to begin with? Now you might say, okay, I've now got a further problem. How do I figure all that out? It's true. These are big questions. They definitely are. But I would suggest that you at least have a reasonable sense what they're not. You know the things that really infuriate you and kind of go against your values. And I don't just mean trivial things. I mean things that consistently, that's not what I'm about. That's not what matters to me. And roughly over the other side, the things that you do attribute value to, the things that do matter. So it might be crystal clear, but you'll have a reasonable direction of it. So if you're kind of tapping into that, the things that matter to you, the things that you care about, the things that you really want to give your energy and time to pursuing in life, and then downstream from that, you're saying, okay, now how can I sort the world based on those values? Then you're good. And you can use the same example with software. Is there right or wrong software? Well, no. Is a word processor better than a spreadsheet? Is a spreadsheet better than a database? Is a database better than image editing software? Is that better than video editing software? You couldn't really say yes or no to that. These are just different applications. However, if you say what you're trying to achieve, then all of a sudden there is a right or wrong answer to that. Sometimes Windows might be better for some things, Mac might be better for others. In my life, I have to use Windows and Mac because I have a variety of different things I need to do with the research I do as well as the practice that I do, and there isn't one system that kind of runs it all. So likewise, in your day-to-day life, you may need a bit of flexibility in your thinking. There may be almost different forms of thinking you need to step into depending on what you're trying to achieve. Some involving being a bit more analytical and kind of problem solving. Other modes being a bit more intuitive and connecting on that level with what's happening. But they're not necessarily incompatible with each other. They're just different programs that run essentially on the same system. So that, I think, can be a helpful way of approaching this sophisticated area, because there are pretty much unlimited perspectives or ways of framing things. But if you have some sense of what you're about, then hopefully you can kind of create or draw upon categories or ways of sorting things or ways of perceiving the world that make a bit of sense based on that, and that you can see in practice then work for you. If you found this valuable, do like, subscribe, and share. And what's your experience? Do you have any questions or topic suggestions? You can contribute in the comments, on social media using hashtag bodymindself, or on jfl.com.